Okay, picture yourself as my mom was, a college student, a scholar, a great learner, um, and all of a sudden pregnant in the midst of a bunch of different relationships in a really panicked time of her life. She was pregnant. She knew how to commit suicide. She was a smart nurse. There was a person of the clergy that suggested she have an abortion. If the service of the single people, truly single, literally sheltered by us as a community, moving around and loving on people around the clock, keeping up prayers, doing outreach, living an extremely simple, frugal life in community with us, if that service of single peoples had been in place as designed by the supernatural visitor who they called Jesus of Nazareth, if that service of single peoples had been in place, my mother would have been taken through layers of options and opportunities, and the truth would have been opened that there had been a sex abuse in her youth that essentially turned her promiscuous. Cheerful, friendly, pleasure sharing is relatively difficult to stop once it starts getting going. So the service of the single people would have been surrounding her when she had this early sex experience, and she would have been aware that she had the option of literally being one of the superpower single people, surrounded and connected constantly, or her parents would have been informed that it would probably be good to really help her into a really sweet and refreshing marriage bed situation so she could supplant the scary surprise pleasure, still full of friendliness, supplanting that friendly, scary pleasure with true, wholesome pleasure where God as a person is literally sitting in the midst of the relationship. My mom was robbed of that, and then when she got pregnant, she was robbed of that service of single people. This is a problem of enormous proportions that all of my favorite people that I've learned from have never mentioned, except for David Verso in his research. And I have my heart, my face set like flint, as it says. I have purpose in my heart, and my face is set like flint to restore the simple, courageous things that actually keep us alive as a human tribe focused on spirit, highest spirit. Even if you're scared of saying the Jesus word or talking about Bible, it is true to say, as in Romans 2, that all human beings have a conscience. There is a doctrine, a teaching in the early church writings called the equality of humankind, borne out in Romans chapter 2 and in many other places, that man looks on the outward appearance, and Yahweh Elohim, the Great Spirit, looks on the heart. So the one that's wearing a Jesus t-shirt may be far from truly honorable, and the one who seems to spit curses from time to time may actually be standing in a much more pure status before the Great Spirit than the person with the Jesus t-shirt on. This is a true and undeniable fact. And even Jesus says, anybody that curses and spits on my name will be forgiven. But anyone who curses and spits on the Spirit that I send operating in human beings will not be forgiven, not in this age or the next age. Remember these things and study what the early Christians believed about the ministry of widows and virgins, comma, and study isolation, exclamation point. All the best.